Two-player games are perfect for date night. So, date night. Wine and a film? How about a board game and some chips instead? Did someone say chips? I'm in. Or they are simply the perfect fit when you can't organize a huge gathering or a big game night. Hey Jerry, I think we're gonna have to cancel tonight. Yeah, Danny and I are a little bit busy. We will be playing two-player board games. Yeah, see ya. However, finding the right two-player game for you can be almost as difficult as finding the correct rules for a game of Uno. In this video, we're going to examine 5 board games that I would definitely recommend to couples who are organizing their next date night. So, pack away that game of chess, throw away that game of Guess Who, because there are 5 amazing games coming your way. Let's go! Hey dude, can we pencil in some board games for this weekend? It's been ages since we last played. Sure, but only just one game though. Yes. Games. Do you ever dream of long romantic walks on the streets of Paris? Maybe you want to indulge a little in sightseeing before ending your day under the dappling light of the moon and the city lights. Paris City of Lights is a game that has you building your own little slice of France right out of this tiny box. In the first phase, just like the moon, players will opt to either place down a cobblestone tile from their pile which represents the sites where future buildings will be placed, or they can either take a polyomino-shaped building and put it into their supply, kind of like an investment. As players position, rotate, and decide how their cobblestone tiles get laid out, a patchwork of orange and blue is carved out into the game map, with each colour representing each player. Purple cobblestone spaces are like cafes. They're shared spaces where either players can build in the future. In the second phase of the game, players decide to either construct a building from their supply onto the map, ensuring that it only covers their colour or purple and does not cover any streetlights, or they can opt to use one of the 8 game-changing postcards which breaks the game's rules in some way. It's a pretty good idea to write home about your trip, send your loved ones a postcard, only to realise that they'll receive your postcard weeks after you return from your holiday and you're back at work. At the end of the game, players gain points for the area of each building, multiplied by the number of lights that the buildings are touching. Clusters of buildings are also going to score massive points. I really love how laid everything is, where you're building from the ground all the way to these beautiful monuments that kind of look like a mini diorama of Paris itself. I really love the fact that in the first phase of the game, you have 2 really simple choices, yet they're incredibly weighted. Do you choose a polyomino-shaped building so that your opponent can't get it and nab it from you? Or do you lay out your cobblestones so that your colour paths match up? But beware of the purple mixed colour cobblestone, because that is a shared cobblestone colour that your player can use in the second phase. The second phase of the game is incredibly thinky because you're presented with a display of 8 different postcards with 8 different monuments that give you different ways to score at the end of the game or throughout the game, and adding you the extra unpredictability and flexibility. You might decide to lay a building and then lay a fountain next to it to score 3 victory points for every building that's touching it. You may even like to build the Arc de Triomphe to expand the connected largest building cluster space on your board, or even adding the Eiffel Tower from the expansion to amp up the power of the lamps in your city. I just think all the choices in this game feel so incredibly thinky, yet the game doesn't last for very long. Can you turn that thing off, please? I can't see what I'm doing. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to shine a light on this great strategy that you're currently using. Are you an outdoors person where you enjoy a good date, where you can walk through a lush rainforest, dance in the rain, or even spot some cool wildlife? Well, Canopy might be the game that have you sweeping up leaves and also off your feet. Canopy is a card sifting game where players push their luck to trawl through 3 piles of cards like some sort of leaf cutter ants to find a pile that suits their needs. Not satisfied with one pile? Then venture on to the next. Players continue doing this until they find one that they like, which they then place out into their collection. In the piles, players are searching for mating pairs of wildlife, which provide endgame points and unique end-of-season effects. Like botanists, players can also discover some of the amazing plant life that scores victory points the more of each type of plant species that you have. Rain and Sun cards provide points if you can match them together, whilst Fire and Disease cards destroy what you've created by causing you, and sometimes other players, to discard the cards they've acquired. The most interesting type of cards players will find in the deck are these trunk cards, which allow you to lay them on top of other trunk cards to extend the height of the tree. Canopy cards cap off these trees so that they can be scored. Players gain points for the tallest and strongest trees grown. The Circle of Life, however, does not stop there. Seed cards allows players to gain support from the seed deck, which is beneficial if you're trying to flourish in such a competitive environment. Canopy is a really great green level card game which grows as the game progresses. What I really like about this game is the twist on the card drafting mechanic, and usually when you play games that involves drafting, it usually works best with higher player counts, but here it's optimized for the 2-player level. The fact that players are sifting through the different new growth piles to find the optimum scoring cards to help enhance their rainforest growth is a really critical decision point that players have to make. I mean, do players take that first card and help their rainforest grow, or do they risk taking a higher pile of cards which might have threat cards that are in it that they might have to inherit and manage, which might dampen their point scoring abilities? There are so many cool little ways to score in this game, where you're collecting pairs of wildlife cards or even building trees with the tallest trunks, and I love this trunk extending mechanic where once you put the canopy on top, you've kind of capped off your tree and you score it at the end of the season. Dude, what are you doing with those leaves? Well, this leaf gives me 5 victory points for every crusty leaf in my collection at the end of the game, and this leaf gives me 2 extra victory points for every caterpillar that's eaten a hole through it. So, you've reached that monumental goal of being in a long-term relationship, and you've both decided to move in together into your first house. Well, what a great time to decorate. Just the way your partner wanted, of course. It's the best way to test your relationship and your patience. Decorum is all about interior design that will keep everyone happy, especially your partner. It's a 2-player game that directly imitates what it might be like for a couple who can't decide on what furniture to choose from or what style they want for their home. Throughout the game, each player is given a secret set of conditions that they want satisfied in their house. Players will take it in turns, placing items in the house, changing the wall color, replacing similar items, or even removing things altogether. After each action, their partner will respond with expressions such as, "I like it," "Oh, I hate it," or "It doesn't bother me either way," whilst gritting their teeth at their partner's ability to read their true thoughts and intentions. It's a witty, colourful game that looks like it was cut out of the back of an IKEA catalogue. It's a game experience that might be truly reflective of real life. Decorum is a decorative logic puzzle where players ultimately have to work backwards to try and decipher what the other player's conditions are, and by matching the 2 conditions together and solving it together, players will find themselves in harmony. What I really like about this game is, first of all, the colourful nature of the board. The second thing I really like is the way that players kind of dance around the puzzle solving element of the game. When a player has spent 2 or 3 rounds placing 3 red items on the board and you're like, we can't have red items in our house, and then you kind of deduce that you need to paint the house red, means that you've kind of worked it out collectively together. You've kind of gone through that process of negotiating how everything is going to look, and you've come to a consensus about how things should be. And that's what makes this game so beautiful. Now, the first couple of games that you'll play, you'll probably kind of decipher some strategies to try and overcome and metagame the game itself. But as you get through to the later scenarios, you'll find that the game becomes quite challenging and difficult. And the game really shifts in a different direction if you do choose to play this at a 3 or 4 player count. Wow, I'm impressed. These 2-player board games have gotten so much better over the years. Yeah, I love how these games include variants for 3 players and 4 players. It's genius. Wait, are you seeing someone else? No. Is it Jerry from Southside Board Gaming Group? You know, that guy only likes playing 3 and 4 player games. Actually, I meant that you could play this game at 2 players, 3 players, or 4 players. That's it. I'm out. How could you ever think of playing this game with 3 players? Crikey, mate! Are you like me and love fish? I don't mean the salmon kind or the one you eat with chips. I'm talking about koi, colourful koi that live in ponds. As an avid fish hobbyist, a walk through a Japanese garden looking at ponds would be my perfect date, as long as it's not slippery. Kohaku is a tile drafting and placement game where players are picking koi and ornament tiles at the same time and placing them in their own pond, checkers style. The species of koi come in either 1 or 2 colours. Ornament tiles help to carve out an interesting game landscape. Water lily tiles want to be adjacent to koi of the matching colours. Rocks with koi fry want to be next to tiles with other baby koi. Frogs love chomping on dragonfly, so any dragonfly tiles nearby will probably get eaten, whilst the butterfly tiles score 2 victory points per koi of the matching colour in the corresponding row or column. Kohaku is a beautifully deceptive game. It's like looking at a pond from afar and seeing the beauty before sticking your face right in the water and seeing the underwater world underneath. Kohaku is an elegant tile-laying game that plays best at 2 players. It is in fact a visual feast for the eyes, and it's a great intro game for anyone new to board gaming. I really like this game because it differs from other tile-laying games in the way where the main pond board where players are drafting from is continually shifting. Players are drafting 2 tiles per turn, including an ornament and a koi tile, and they're laying them out in their pond patchwork style, where they're basically alternating between ornaments and koi and trying to match the koi to the scoring ornaments that are around them. So matching the coloured fish to the flowers that are next to it, getting dragonflies, and scoring for coloured koi that match up with the butterfly colour in the same column or row. There are a lot of geographical challenges that you have to navigate as you place your tiles and expand your pond. Whilst it might seem really zen-like at the beginning, you really start to see the crunchiness and thinkiness through multiple plays, which is incredibly satisfying. Now this is relaxing. What do you mean? Watching you lose this game? So draft this koi and ornament tile, place it into my pond, scoring me 12 victory points at the end of the game. Yes! I agree. This is pretty relaxing. Love ancient history and want to take your date to the local museum, or maybe you fancy a little bit of shopping? Well, Sobek might be the perfect game for you as it immerses you in the local markets situated right along the River Nile. In Sobek, players will be taking turns to move this gloriously gold Ankh token across this grid of tiles, which represents the eclectic and vibrant alleyways of the Egyptian market. Players are aiming to gather as many resources of each particular good type as possible, especially the ones that feature these scarab symbols as they act as point multipliers at the game's end. Each turn, players will move the Ankh token across the board oriented in the direction indicated by the last goods tile taken, as noted by these brown markings on the side of the tiles. Think of them as directions to the next best store. Players will have the option of taking any tile available in the line of sight of the Ankh token. However, if a player ever has to hop over other tiles to get what they want, those hop tiles are taken as an end of game penalty, so beware, don't overstretch the budget. Like Pokemon, there are 6 different goods types to collect, with green statues acting as wild goods. Completing a set of at least 3 goods tiles allows players to acquire a boat token, a hidden bonus that boosts players in the right direction, kinda like the mushroom in Mario Kart. Character tiles help to expand a player's set of goods that they might specialize in, or they can be used for a powerful effect to help disrupt your opponent's scoring abilities. What I really like about this game is the tactical nature that players acquire their goods tiles, build up sets of tiles in front of them, and multiply them by scarabs to maximize the points possible. I love this cool directional Ankh pawn that gets placed in the middle of the board, and as players move across the board and acquire tiles, the tile that they actually acquire into their hand changes the direction in which this Ankh pawn moves, meaning that you can kind of line up and set it up Takenoko style, where you can try and aim for certain resources that you need to. What are you doing? Oh, I'm just calculating. Are you totaling your victory points already? I'm calculating how much time it's going to take for you to finish your turn. I love the feeling of building these good sets as you go. Once you've established your first set of 3, you can keep adding onto them, including using these green statues or even the character cards to help enhance the power and magnitude of your set. And also playing character tiles from your hands gives you very powerful abilities like this character who allows you to take any of the goods tiles on the board. So what did you think of those 2-player games? Did any of those pique your interest? Do you have some of your favorite 2-player games that you like to play with your favorite person or your significant other? I'd love to hear them in the comments section below. Danny, you forgot. You know, that thing that YouTubers do at the end of every video. Wait a minute, I'm getting to it. If you really like this video, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Also, please head over to my Patreon page and consider checking us out on Patreon and supporting us there. Otherwise, this is Danny signing out. Forget wine and dining, how about wine and a board game? Good day and enjoy your next game. Goodbye.